Have you all heard on this day in 1865, President Lincoln attended Ford's Theater without his usual bodyguard because, well, the fellow was cousins with John Wilkes Booth. Coming at you. Folks, on April 14th, 1865, President Abraham Lincoln headed over to Ford's Theater for a night of entertainment that would tragically become his last one. Now, here's the jaw-dropping part that most historians and books leave out. Lincoln's regular bodyguard, William H. Crook, had begged the president not to go that very night. Crook had a terrible feeling about it and was scheduled to guard President Lincoln, but another guard named John Parker took his shift instead. Now, Parker abandoned his post during the play to grab a drink next door at the very same saloon where a fellow named John Wilkes Booth was building up liquid courage. Some historians believe that Parker and Booth even knew each other, being from the same part of Maryland. Talk about a security detail gone worse than a possum in a peach orchard. Y'all, today is National Pecan Day. Pecan, whatever you want to call it. April 14th celebrates America's only native nut tree and one that's deeply rooted in southern soil. Did y'all know that the word pecan, whatever, comes from the Algonquin word meaning a nut that requires a stone to crack? Georgia alone produces over 88 million pounds of these southern jewels each and every year. Thomas Jefferson was so fond of pecans, whatever, that he planted trees at Monticello and shared them with George Washington for Mount Vernon. From pralines in New Orleans to Derby Pine, Kentucky, this versatile nut has found its way into every single corner of Southern cuisine. So whether you say pecan or pecan, today's the day to enjoy this blessed Southern treasure. All right, let's talk about one of the South's most beloved comfort foods. You know I'm talking about chicken and dumplings. This hearty dish has been filling Southern bellies since pioneer days when those frugal housewives needed to stretch a chicken to feed a whole hungry family. Now, back then, dumplings were considered depression food because they could make one chicken feed twice as many mouths. The first printed recipe appeared in an 1879 cookbook called Housekeeping in Old Virginia. What's fascinating is how this dish changes as you travel throughout the South. Flat dumplings in Tennessee, drop dumplings in the Carolinas, and some parts of Louisiana even add sausage. Dolly Parton loves them so much, she claims they helped her cure her when she was sick as a child, saying, "Mama's chicken and dumplings could resurrect the dead." Now that's some powerful cooking. Now, with Tax Day looming tomorrow, let's revisit Matthew 22, where some folks tried to trap Jesus with a question about taxes. They asked if it was lawful to pay taxes to Caesar. Jesus, sharp as a tack, asked whose image was on that coin. When they said Caesar's, well, he replied, "Render unto Caesar what's Caesar's and unto God what's God's." Now, I've tried explaining to the IRS that most of my money belongs to God, not Caesar, but they weren't too sympathetic. This passage reminds us to fulfill our civic duties while remembering that our true allegiance is to a higher power. So when you're fixing and filing those taxes tomorrow, remember, the government may take your money, but they can't take your joy. Speaking of tax day tomorrow, my neighbor asked what I was doing this weekend. I told him I'm having a romantic date with my tax forms. There'll be wine, calculators, and lots of crying. My wife suggested that we hire an accountant this year, but I told her, "Honey, why pay somebody to tell us we ain't got no money when I can do that for free?" My daddy always said, there are two certainties in life, death and taxes. I told him, "Daddy, there's a third one, my confusion when reading tax instructions." I asked my son what 1040 meant, and he said, "That's how many times you'll say, 'Where'd I put that receipt?'" Remember, folks, if you wait till the last minute to file, you'll only be stressed for one day instead of weeks. Now, that's what I call Southern efficiency. And that's all for today's Have Y'all Heard? Because now y'all have. Go ahead and leave a comment if you're smarter, smiling, or hungry. Until next time, later taters.